At 21, a $3,000 loan from an uncle to Africa's richest man. Bold moves are made by bold men and women, and this man is one of such men. His story starts with a 21-year-old boy, a $3,000 loan, and the rest is history as we meet Africa's richest man for 11 consecutive years, from 2008 to 2021. He gave up being a middleman to be the man, shrewd in business and savvy in connections. He never gives up, never stops at one thing. To him, success is not a destination, but an ever-moving goalpost. He is soft-spoken but aggressive in business. His name is Aliko Dangote. Dangote's success story doesn't start with the typical poverty to fame plotline. He is special. His childhood. Born in Nigeria in 1957, Aliko Dangote's mother was the daughter of Sanusi Dantata, a man who was West Africa's richest man before his death in 1955. Dangote's father was a business mogul and an associate of Sanusi Dantata. As a child, Dangote grew up with an entrepreneurial mindset, always thinking, always experimenting, always exploring. His environment made him attempt bold moves without fear of failure. He was a born risk taker. His studies. At the age of 21, Dangote graduated from Al-Azhar University in Egypt, with a degree in business studies and administration. He seemed to have already made it clear in his mind of where he was headed. The business world. The Dangote Group of companies. After graduation, he convinced his uncle to loan him $3,000 to start his business. His uncle gave him and Dangote, without wasting time, with the capital, incorporated Dangote Group and began importation business. The Dangote Group began importing rice from Thailand, sugar from Brazil, bagged cement, fisheries, and other consumer items. The business became such a success as it was the first of its kind at the time, selling retail all over Nigeria. With the profit from this business, Dangote paid off his loan and went on to become a young budding entrepreneur. Light bulb in Brazil. Something special happened on one of his many trips to Brazil. On one of his trips to Brazil in 1995, there was an aha moment. As if the light bulb in his mind was switched on, an idea dropped into his mind. He then took the next bold move. He figured out that being a middleman was profitable but expensive. So he made plans to become a manufacturer. Instead of a middleman, he became the man. With profits made from his importation business, Dangote decided to step into the manufacturing of textile. After manufacturing of textiles, the group moved into processing of salt. By the end of the decade, Dangote's group has also ventured into flour milling, sugar refining, fertilizers, and pasta production. Never stops. Dangote never stops at one thing. His manufacturing business found immediate great success, so he made further plans to diversify his business. Before he began his manufacturing business, Dangote had ventured into the cement business. He bought cement in trucks and resold them at a slightly higher price. Although this business was a success, Dangote had decided to focus on manufacturing of consumer goods. Now that he had success in manufacturing, he revisited his cement business, but this time not as a distributor, but as a manufacturer. His tenacity and achievement brought him to the spotlight in Africa, and he was awarded with a state-owned cement company by the Nigerian government. Dangote took a $479 million loan from the International Finance Corporation to finance the operation of the cement company. He also invested $319 million of his own money into the cement business, and this has turned out to be a huge success. The Dangote cement plant in Obajana, Kogi, currently is the largest in sub-Saharan Africa with 10.25 million tons per year capacity across 3 lines and a further 3 million tons per year capacity currently being built. It is sad to note that Dangote Cement PLC, Africa's largest producer of the building material, shut one of its plants in Nigeria's central Kogi state after government agents sealed the premises over alleged unpaid taxes. The state government sent its agents to take over and seal the plant, the company said in a statement on October 7, 2022. Nigeria Stock Exchange. His businesses continue to grow and grow, leading Dangote to debut on the Nigerian Stock Exchange market. His stock accounted for 30% of Nigerian stock market activities on that day. By 2020, the 3 Dangote subsidiaries listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange employed 19,672 workers. This is equal to 51% of all workers in listed manufacturing firms. Forbes list: top in Africa. By the end of 2010, his sugar refinery made the sales of $450 million, therefore making it the largest sugar refinery in Africa and the second largest in the world. His other refineries also achieved similar success. With the success of all his refineries, Aliko Dangote debuted in the Forbes list of the world's wealthiest man in 2008 with a fortune of $3.3 billion. In 2011, Aliko Dangote became the richest man in Africa with a net worth of $13.8 billion. He also appeared on the Forbes list of the richest men in 2011 at number 51. He became the first African to achieve this feat in the 3 years 2008 to 2011. Dangote increased his wealth by $10 billion. What a feat! His success can be attributed to his acquisition of the cement factory. Since his debut as Africa's richest man, Dangote has maintained this position from the year 2011 to 2022. He continued to top the list of the richest person in Africa. According to the data released by Forbes, Aliko Dangote's current fortune is at $12.4 billion and he is at 136 of Forbes' list of the world's richest people. The secret to his success. When asked, what is the secret to your success? Dangote always refers to his entrepreneurial family background and opportunities. Dangote has always described his journey towards becoming Africa's richest man as exciting and intense. In one of his interviews with Forbes Africa, Dangote stated that he had encountered various levels of obstacles in his success journey, and his only way to overcome them was to think in a big and innovative way. A limited mindset will always hinder your progress. In his exact words, he said, "You have to dream big to be big." And that's what my company is doing. To prove this, Dangote had set out plans to build an oil refinery that cost over $13 billion. This oil refinery is projected to become one of the largest oil refineries in Africa and is estimated to produce over 650,000 barrels of oil per day. Before we look at how Aliko Dangote spreads his risks, if you enjoy this type of videos, we politely request you to subscribe so that it counts as a vote for us to produce similar videos. Thank you. Separated. Spreading the risk. Let us now look at how Aliko Dangote spreads his risks. Dangote has separated each of his manufacturing businesses into publicly traded companies: Dangote Cement PLC, Dangote Salt Refinery, Dangote Sugar Refinery PLC, and more. He has expanded into different African countries and has impacted the economy of many. In an interview with Al Jazeera News, Dangote shared that his group aims to changing the narrative. He mentioned that unlike other Africans who prefer saving money in the bank, he chose to invest any amount that got into his hands. According to him, he hopes to keep investing in the future. Philanthropy. Aliko Dangote is giving back to the world. He partnered with the Bill and Melinda Foundation to reduce polio and increase vaccination in the northern part of Nigeria. Dangote Foundation spends $100 million on philanthropic endeavors each year. He personally donated $1.25 billion to his foundation. Luxury. Aliko Dangote owned a $45 million private jet. At the time of purchase, it was the most expensive in Africa. He also owned over 25 luxury cars, including Bentleys and a C-Class Mercedes-Benz. He is also an avid enthusiast of Arsenal FC in the Premier League and also the Super Eagles, Nigeria's national team. What next? Aliko Dangote lives in Lagos, Nigeria. He has been married and divorced twice. He has 3 daughters, Mariva, Halima, and Fatima. He is a member of the Steering Committee of the United Nations Secretary General's Global Education First Initiative, the Clinton Global Initiative, and the International Business Council of the World Economic Forum. What is next for Africa's richest man? Politics? United Nations? No one knows. Only time will tell. If you enjoyed this video, we politely request for you to subscribe so that it counts as a vote for us to produce similar videos. Thank you for watching. All the best.